welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing the end of month flip for my Louis Vuitton large ring or GM agenda. I am very excited to share this with you guys because I don't think I changed anything in this planner, and that's the first time where I feel like that hasn't happened in an end of month flip, and so I'm really happy about that. However, I do think I'm going to make changes in the setup video for next month, but we will see. So let's go ahead and take a look, and I'll flip through everything, show y'all where we're at. So I've been loving being back in the GM as my main planner. Like I've mentioned throughout the year, this has been my desk agenda regardless, and so I've had like my main, like a schedule view in here. My academic inserts have been in here. That's been the consistent elements in this planner, but now just having the full pages again has been really nice. However, that is something that I feel like I might adjust in the next month. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's go ahead and start with everything over here. So because this has been my main planner, I've been making it easier on myself and throwing stickers and stuff that I've been using just in the pockets. I typically move them around to, when it's a smaller planner, I usually have kept it in like my pencil pouch, or lately I've been using my pochette accessory, honestly, for like all of my other stickers, and it's been working well. But like, that's because they're too small and they would like stick out. But since everything fits in my GM and there's enough pocket space, I'm able to throw them in here. So this is all the main stickers I've been using. Some dots, more dots. The page pins have been the best thing for my planners. And then I just have the monthly tab. And then I have the icon stickers that I use the most back here. That part hasn't changed. I think I've always had that in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and flip through. So first things first, I actually moved my this isn't a vellum, my dashboard. This is a LV dashboard from Salty 22. I get so many questions on this. This has been discontinued. I got it years ago for all of my planners, and I use them in every single planner because I just love them so much. And then I love how like this layers and it covers and protects the dashboard, which is why I moved it from a page lifter, because it was always in the back, to the front, because I felt like this was, something happened. I can't remember what it was. I think it got like stained or something up here. Oh no, down here. And so I just want it, and it's hard to lift. So I was like, let me just put this up front. And so now I have this up here to protect my dashboard. And then this is the Kobe Bryant dashboard from Cloth and Paper. This also has been discontinued. This is also old. I miss this era of Cloth and Paper so much, but this was and is probably my favorite planner dashboard that I've ever purchased, because I just love it so much. And that is the front two items in this agenda. So we have that, and then we go on to my tabs. And so I'm still using the Spotlight tab dividers from Cloth and Paper. I also use these in my A6, so it's funny that I just have the same, I'm only using my A6 and my A5, and I'm using the same tab dividers, and it's kind of set up in a similar way, and we'll go over that in just a moment. But I don't know, I was looking at it when I was like reviewing everything that I might want to change for the month prior to these videos, and I was like, oh, so in these tab dividers for the A5, this is my schedule section. I have like my weekly task inserts, so these are kind of like my daily lists. And then I have my academic section, which is kind of like a reference section. And so what I thought was kind of funny that I didn't even realize I did unintentionally was, this is my schedule section for my A6. This is what I call the reference section because this is my reference and list planner. And this has my content, my finances, and then monthly plans. And then this is my this is my reference section, and then this is my list section. And so this has all of my just like general lists, my reading lists, and then just general notes. And so I just thought it was funny that I essentially have a similar setup, but they're also very different, right? Because I have specifics in here. That's why this is the reference planner. And then this is really just focused on plans. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the schedule section. So this is organized by these Infinite Lotus top tabs. Oh, I will have everything linked below that I can link, as well as discount codes. I don't think I mentioned that one in this video. First up is the yearly inserts. And so, or I'm sorry, the yearly tab. And so I have these inserts from Cloth and Paper that came with the weekly schedule inserts. And so just a year at a glance, holidays and observances. And then we go into these yearly inserts that came in the Infinite Lotus sub box that I really like. And I finally started filling them out, guys. All I'm saying, I've been meaning to do it and I finally like started. And so you just have a sheet for the entire year where you can come in and everything's organized. Birthdays, anniversaries, I said started, I didn't say I did it all. Holidays and traditions, personal finance, health and wellness, home maintenance, vehicle maintenance, and then work and business. So I got a few in here and now I'm still updating the rest. So we have that, but I really like having these in here because they're actually really nice. And so I think these might stay in my planner. I'll probably set up a new set for the new year because it does come with a few sets. So I really like these, so I think we'll keep them in here. But we have that. And then the next tab is the monthly tab. I have the vellum again from the Infinite Lotus sub box, paired with a dashboard from Cloth and Paper that came with the weekly inserts. And then this also came from the sub box. It's not online yet, but this is the month on one page insert from Infinite Lotus. And I've been using this for tracking workouts and activity, anything physical health related. I did have meals in here, but I kind of fell off because it just didn't work. And so I think we'll just keep this as the health, like this will be the health section where it's just the activity because this is easier for me to manage. And I think this is something too that I just prefer to manage. I just want to try something out a little bit differently this month. And I actually have the insert here so that way y'all can see it. But as y'all can see, I just fell off. At one point I even got it wrong because I couldn't remember what it was, and I was just like, oh, my intent was to have it so that I can remember like what we ate and kind of make sure that it like stretches out so we don't get too tired of different things, because that happens. And then I don't know what happened, to be honest with you guys. I just, yeah, it doesn't work for me. It's a great idea if you stick with it, but I think it's also just not that important for me to track, and that's something that I realized mid-month, and so I just stopped using it because it wasn't going to work. This, however, is something that I do like tracking and has been working and I keep up to date with. So we are keeping this in here, and so right now this is just like the activity section, and then from there we go into the weekly and tab. I keep switching up the wrong terms. So we have July in here, which y'all saw last month. Yeah, August flew by. I'm honestly surprised that I'm filming this. It feels like I just filmed my setup videos. Here's July, so here's the current month that we are in, August. And so I really been liking these inserts. However, I noticed, and I mentioned it in several videos, or 2 videos, probably even on Instagram, where inside of this planner there are 3 different type of weekly inserts, and I knew at some point I'd probably get a little overwhelmed. Maybe not overwhelmed is the best word for it, but I knew I'd probably want to like switch it up so that way it was in 3 different style inserts. And so what I'm thinking about doing is removing these, and I have the version of these for my A6. These are the undated versions, and then the bottom's just a little different, but they're similar, right? And so that way it's still similar style, and I feel like it would work out a little bit better because I'm not going to do sports anymore since I have my hourly. And honestly, what's been working really well and what I've noticed is that I spend a lot of time in my hourly section as well as the weekly tasks, and I think I can just get away with using those too. So I don't think this is needed. However, I do like it, and so that's the reason why I think I want to switch to having this in my A6, so that way I still get this view because I do like it overall, right? But at the same time, it'll make it easier. I think it'll make it a little bit more comprehensive for this planner and my A6, and then that way too, since this view will be my A6, I'll have a weekly view in there. And so we'll see how that looks, how that works out. But that's currently what I'm thinking. Again, I'll have setup videos. That's my new schedule, is setup videos at the beginning of the month, updates in the middle, and then these end of month flips at the end of the month. But that's what I think we'll probably do. So yeah, still like them. I just think we need to put them into a different planner ultimately. So we have that, and then September isn't set up yet because I'm still deciding what to do. But we have those, and then we go into the daily section. However, this is my hourly section. I don't like dailies and A5s. I do not need dailies in A5. That is way too large and way too much space. So these are from ROSIE PAPETERIE. These are my favorite hourly inserts. I have really been loving them and having them back in my system because I bounced around Not so much with hourly, but just with planner inserts in general, as you all have seen. But these are like a constant go-to, so they work well. And it's something that I just really like when it comes to inserts. So we have these. At one point, I think I was gonna use them just for work, and I decided against that early on in the month, because I think we set them up to be my work inserts, if you saw that setup video. And it's because this works perfectly fine as is. And then that way too, I feel like I can put more into my weekly schedule. And I like that it's just a general insert for everything. And I think because I decided to use these for not just work specifically, right, to use it for like all of my plans, that's where ultimately the decision to take these out of here makes sense, because then it was personal, work, and then like tactical planning, right? And so now that this is just general use, I don't need two general use and then tactical, right? So I think that's ultimately, especially now that I'm saying it out loud, the reason why I want to move these out, because it just, I don't know, I feel like it makes more sense, right? So yeah, so we have that, or have these set up, and then again, I've just been loving having them back in here. And I'll probably set up most of these inserts with you guys in that setup video. But this was August, use them every single week, really love them. Love having the consistency as well. So we have that. And then next tab is my tactical planning. And so in here we have the 2026 weekly task inserts from Cloth and Paper. I ordered these when they launched, and I just cover up the dates and pretty much a lot of it with these page pins, which is why these are in this planner, so it's easy to cover them up. I also use these for my work planner too, but I primarily am in here, so we use this. But I really love these inserts, and these get used every single day, which is why I think I want to move these to the daily insert, or the daily tab, which I think will make sense. And then using this as like a note section again will probably be a little bit more beneficial for me. But again, we'll see what happens in the setup. But overall, loving these. These have been perfect. Again, these are general use as well, but this is tactical planning. So this is everything that I'm doing throughout the day. So usually my planner's actually been open to this or my hourly. And again, that's where keeping these two I feel like is important to my routine, because that's what's working. And as opposed to the weekly overview, where I noticed I wasn't really going in that much. It was more backfilling than anything. And because I have what I need either in the hourly or in these, those inserts are now kind of redundant. But again, moving them to A6 because I like the view, right? So I like the setup, makes sense, because then that has that like component in my A6 and I can take it with me on the go. So yeah, a little on that. And on these, priorities is just anything that's really important for me to do. To do is just the general tasks. In the past on these hourly inserts, I have done like weekly things that need to get done, like dishes, laundry, put up clothes down here. I've also done orders and like deliveries. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word for some reason. In here. And so this week, for example, I have deliveries, and then I have just those weekly chores. And so you might see that in here going forward. I think it'll all depend on the week. This week I had so many deliveries, I just put them here. I didn't need to order anything because I had so many orders. So I just decided to use this list for all of like the tasks. But in here it's really nice because I can come in and then I can just plan what day I'm doing it, and then check it off or move it if it needs to be moved. So we have that. And then I also added a little content section down here, which I actually really like as well. So that way I can keep track of everything that's being posted. And then I have specific deliveries for the days here. But like this will just be general notes for the days. I do think I'll keep the content here though, because I do really like that. But yeah, we have that. And then that is the current week. So then again, I just have the pins set up so that way I can come in and easily throw things in if I need them. But that is this section. And then the last tab is my academic tab. And so I think nothing has changed in here. I just added the cover to cover up my committee feedback page. And I re-added my dissertation study notes that I printed out because I'm updating some of the things from my committee feedback. So I removed those temporarily and then I just brought them back in. So other than that, everything else is the same. It's just reference. I use the project inserts and then note inserts from 8LOTUS back here for notes on my dissertation. So yeah, that is this section. And then I have a divider. This is a dashboard from the 8LOTUS sub box. I believe this one's on the website now. Again, I'll have it linked below if not, new arrivals. And then back here, I just have the proposal. So I separated where I'm currently at, which is my final defense phase. You have your proposal and then essentially you're preparing for your final with your study. But this is essentially like the archive section. And so this is where I have like everything that I had from the proposal so I can still reference it, as well as general note inserts. And so this is something where this is the part that I think I want a dedicated note section. So I might move the academic up if I move things around, or maybe I'll put the notes second. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that is the current setup and that is it. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to let me know, and thank you guys so much for watching.